Go ahead, hit me
All
up.
right. So basically, I've been installing just a little quick background. I've been installing 5G towers and tower modifications, doing microwave installations for over 16, 17 years. And it never crossed my mind that we literally have to do a line of sight and this is a point to point connection from tower to tower. Like, but it never crossed my mind after I saw the movies, the level movies. Like, I started questioning everything, and it just hit me, and
When you're
it,
setting up two towers that communicate with each other, if there's a hill in between them, they don't work.
it should not work because you have too much loss. And whenever you finish doing these installs, or when I go do a fix, you have to do dB, a decibel measurement. Then you need to leave it and at least at minus 30 of dB. If you don't do that, either AT&T or none of these carriers will approve, and they will not even pay you. So you have to do a straight path. So if it's basically like if you are putting two flashlights, and the signal gotta be in a straight line. This is a directional antenna, and we're talking about gigabytes of data. And if you have too much error, there's no way it's not gonna work, and they're not even gonna approve you.
So hold on a
So
second. We're talking about like dish television?
you can use microwave for television, data, and they use microwave for everything.
So
But what catch my attention is in 2014, I was with a buddy of mine, and he talked to me about flat Earth on that moment, and I just disregarded. But then he started talking about laser microwaves, which is literally it's more powerful. They use a laser beam, and they started with a beam that was from New York to Chicago. They called it Windy Apple. I started doing some digging on where was that project going. It stopped for some reason. I don't know why. I tried to contact the person, but a few weeks ago, I don't know if you're familiar with the Sean Ryan show. It's Sean Ryan.
no.
So basically, Sean Ryan brought this whistleblower from Antarctica. This guy was a firefighter. He was the lead firefighter in Antarctica, so he had all access to the entire Raytheon facility in the Antarctica. So he started blowing the whistle, and in one part of the interview, he mentions laser microwaves, and this is a technology that they've been using for years. It's been used to create very long microwave paths, and yeah, that confirmed that these guys have been using this for a while. Then I went to the I went to a website on the FCC, and then I downloaded all the links for our broadcast in the all the United States, including Puerto Rico. And there is links that go, it could be from 30 miles to 60, 62 miles. And then I found another company that's been doing links that this is literally a point to point link from I believe it was from Denver, Colorado. It crossed across Denver. I can send you the video. It's 152 miles long, the link, and they transmitted data. They transmitted a phone call. I mean, it's no loss whatsoever. So how do you and it goes over Denver? They're telling me that they go over Denver. How are you going all over the freaking curvature and all the buildings?
Well,
And
hold on. Let me be the devil's advocate for a second. So you got a microwave, you got Denver, and then you got another
mhm.
microwave. Denver is
Yeah,
so if the other microwaves are lower, it won't work on a flat Earth because Denver's in the way. Are those microwave towers higher than Denver? How do they make connection with Denver in the middle?
they're
But they
they're
need
in a
line.
mountain. They're in a mountain, but still, even if they're in a mountain, the curvature, you should not be able to see it because they're straight, and you never see these antennas pointing one down,
No, no, no.
and
I,
you
I,
don't
I
see
got
never.
you. I got you. But if Denver is in the middle, I'm fighting the globe
Yeah,
argument.
yeah, absolutely.
If Denver is in the middle on a flat Earth, and you have two
Mhm.
towers down here, down here, and Denver in my head is Denver, how could they communicate with each other even on a flat Earth? Because Denver's in the way. Bam, right? Unless you had one tower up here and one tower out here. Now on a globe Earth at that distance, there should be another hump, but this tower, this one's up high enough to have that direct line of sight. So my question is, are you sure that Denver was in the middle of this transmission, or was Denver a
According to the video, yes. They say that Denver, because they're selling it as uh we like challenges. So in top of that, we are crossing in top of Denver, which is a city that have a lot of what do you call it? It's a lot of interference because there's a lot of cellular communication plus all the everything will overlap. That's not the only link that I found. Then if I go to the FCC map, which have all the links, because that needs to be registered, you can find all kinds of freaking links that don't even make sense. And then you can go to each link and they will tell you where in the tower it is. So for example, if it's 60 feet above the tower, and then they will both match on the document. So because it needs to be a straight path. So I don't think that would work on a globe Earth at all. And man, I've been high over there, and then I never accounted, and I never freaking, I never level it. Everything's gotta be straight,
Let me
so
ask
you
a
won't
question.
have any loss.
Stupid question. Stupid question. Well, we're in Kansas and we're putting up two towers, far apart. There's no hill in between, and the towers are 200 feet tall, let's say. And you're putting one of the microwaves is at 100 feet on that tower. Let's just say
Mhm.
that's where they mounted it. Does the other one have to be at 100 feet, or could it be at 200 feet?
It could be at 200 feet,
As long as it's
but
line
when
of
you
sight.
go,
As long as it's line
yeah,
of sight.
but when you go to the document, they are both literally every link. They are both in the same freaking. They are both in the same height. Even because it gives you the sea level, it gives you where in the tower it is,
So
and obviously where it is located.
are they making transmitters and receivers the same height off of sea level, or what is more important? The line of sight is important, but are they also making them the same height and not care? Like you have a tower at 100 feet above sea level, flat land in between, and then you have another tower, and you can put it anywhere on that tower, and that tower is up to
Mhm.
200 feet tall. Do they have to put it at 100? Do they put it at 100, or can they put it at 200 and it makes no difference?
You can put it at 200, but then you will have to tilt it. It doesn't make sense. So if you look at all these antennas, they're all straight. They are never like the tilting is it's so little, you will never notice it. So
Yeah, but
if
but what,
if that was the case,
I'm going to
you
argue
will see
again.
that.
I'm going to argue again. At 100 miles, the tilt to make the angle down 100 feet is imperceptible.
Mhm.
Imperceptible, right? If I tilt it like that at 100 miles, it might drop a friggin' mile at a
Yeah,
tiny little tilt. So it's interesting, it's interesting that you want them that they shoot straight out, but the tiniest little tilt that microwave spreads out a little bit too, right? It doesn't go
yeah,
like
it stretches a little bit.
it spreads. So a tiny there is some variance for the angle. I would the reason I'm asking is it's kind of like a sidetrack because you mentioned that they're at the same height according to the documents. Doesn't matter. At 100
Mhm.
miles, 100 feet, that's nothing. I mean, I don't even know if you can measure that.
Uh, I mean, the most important thing is line of sight. Always, that's
Yes.
law for these microwave links. And if you don't have a perfect line of sight, you will have way too many errors because it's too much loss. And then these companies, they won't even pay you.
I got it. So you
So
work for a microwave installer that puts up these towers, and then you sell them. You lease out time or whatever to AT&T
no,
or
I'm my own. I'm a subcontractor. I work for the carriers directly. So
okay.
I go to a vendor, and let's say T-Mobile have 50 microwave links or 50 sites that you. Lately, I haven't been doing microwave links because the hottest shit is 5G. So I've been doing 5G, but I go directly to the vendor, and then I do all the survey, all the install, and all the work by myself. I do all the construction with my crew.
Can I ask you a question about the
Construction meaning
5G?
the install. What was that?
The 5G to transmit phone calls, how many watts of power do they need to work?
What do you mean watts?
I mean, how much
Because
how much how much watts? I mean, isn't it measured by watts? Yeah, they have to be 50 watts or 500 watts or
We use, okay, for the antenna, for the radio to be on, we use DC power and it's
Okay.
net 48. And we use a booster and it's gotta be, we boost it to net 56 basically, but that's it. I mean, they can tweak it in their software on how much they wanna, how much they wanna propagate it or how much power they wanna actually boost
Now,
the radio
my
into.
my the real question is the power that's coming to the antenna. Do they do they oversize the power, the amount of power going? Like, let's say it only needs 50 watts, 500 watts, or whatever, however you're measuring it. I heard reports that they're bringing cables that can offer 50,000 watts.
Yeah.
So why would they do that? Why would they,
Oh
if
man.
it only needs this much power, why would you bring this much power to it, right? Why would you bring?
That's a question that I've been asking myself too, because they have, like for example, T-Mobile have a bunch of frequencies, and they're all these blocks of frequencies, they're not even necessary, and I don't know why they keep adding and adding and adding, and then they just overblow the power for no reason, especially in cities. I mean, they want to go through the buildings, but I mean, it's I think it's too much
Do
in that sense, you
you,
know.
you, I mean, when you're on you climb the towers?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're up on these towers with these things on? Are there microwaves on while you're
Uh,
up there?
yeah, we have ways on to how to go around it, and then if I'm gonna work in front of a sector, I have but because it's divided by sectors, it's alpha, beta, and gamma.
Yeah.
If I want to work on alpha, I just go ahead and lock the sector, so all the radios get locked and they stop transmitting. But that I'm gonna tell you that doesn't happen very often, you know.
So I was in the solar power business and we would do commercial installs on top of buildings. And our guys started to refusing to work on buildings that had 5G towers on them. Excuse me. Because they said that their fillings were buzzing. They had metal fillings in their mouth, which they shouldn't have. And they were like hearing crap in their heads. Like their ears were vibrating. And
That's
they
crazy.
actually said they will not work in these areas. And then the last time I was up on a commercial roof that had buildings, they had literally a red line, and they said, "Do not cross this line." Fry zone,
Yes.
fry. They called it the
Yeah.
fry zone.
Yeah.
It's
Now they have these antennas that are called MIMOs, which are the multiple input, multiple output, which is an antenna integrated with a radio. And that shit is powerful, man. It's just
I mean,
radiation blasting.
Aren't you concerned that you're so close to these things?
I am, but I mean, I gotta eat too.
I get it. Um, the reason I was asking about the amount of power going to them, it's because 5G towers, I believe, are the same frequency that they use for the active denial system that the military uses. You know, the
Mhm.
sonic weapons they use to microwave people.
You have to, okay, if you're interested into that episode that I told you about Sean Ryan, the
Yeah,
Antarctica whistleblower, he
yeah,
talks about everything. And Raytheon is doing been doing this for years.
right.
And he talks about laser microwaves, he's talking about directional energy weapons, and he's telling them like this is real. You get this
So,
to your
so let
head
me ask you a
because
question: Is it all these microwaves that are going up all over the place? They're using them for 5G, for communications, whatever. Could they boost up the power and turn them into a weapon system?
absolutely. Oh yeah, they can.
So, so the
It's
reason that
frequencies.
all
What
this,
are you made of? We are water, and we are
I,
everything is
I know,
electromagnetic impulse.
but the fact that they have like 100 times the amount of power going to them that they will ever need to for the intended use. The only reason that they would need that much more power would be as a weapon system, unless there's another reason that they would have that power there.
I would agree with you on that theory because I mean I've seen some sketchy stuff that I'm like, but why are you doing this? I mean, this doesn't even make sense. If you just want to transmit a little bit of data, so this town over here can get Facebook, why are you putting nine sets of radios in one sector with another freaking MIMO, which is a whole different technology with more radiation, and it's kind of scary. because
Right.
all these systems we're installing now, but I'm pretty sure this is not turned on entirely yet.
So you climb up those really tall towers, like those drone videos we see of the guys at the top of the towers, and it's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's the
You go up that
yeah
high?
the highest that I've been is 500.
That's pretty high. So
Yeah,
do you have no when you're up there, may another service guy might go up there another time after you, right?
yeah.
So can I send you some Flat Earth Podcast stickers to stick on the equipment up there so the next time a guy goes up there, he can think about the Flat
Absolutely.
Earth?
You will be amazed because there's a lot of climbers like low key that we're all flat earthers.
Oh,
Because
nice.
there's no way, there's no freaking way. It's like this is too much quackery, and then they just hide it in plain sight.
That's fantastic. All right, I'll send you some stickers. You stick them up on the towers, all right?
Absolutely, man.
Are you going to Las Vegas to Flattoberfest in October?
Man, not I'm not sure because like October is gonna be very it's gonna be very busy. So I gotta make out that money before winter because once winter hits, it's dead. So we gotta survive in whatever
All
we
right.
saved over the year.
The next question is in 2020, Trump rolled when COVID hit, Trump rolled out the 5G, cross the nation plan.
That's true.
My
That's
town
true.
had three 5G towers, and now there's over 100 5G towers. Um,
I was part of that. It was a very very big effort just to that it was wild because no everyone was in lockdown, and then they gave me a paper basically stating that I was essential. So it was like if someone like the cops or someone stopped me, I can show proof that I'm working on this. But it was a very big push, especially T-Mobile. T-Mobile went ballistics over 2020. Like we built so many towers that it's ridiculous. It was a very big push. Now it's dead. Now we're waiting for more work, which is probably gonna come in 2024. But yeah, that 2020 push is totally real. That's not conspiracy theory stuff. That really happened. That really happened, and we were part of it.
I how do you feel about that? What are you gonna do? I understand we all have to eat. What are you gonna
The
do?
thing is, I discovered flat Earth and all these stuff because I started watching Hitler production videos, and when I saw the 5G, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, I need to start moving away out of this. But it's been so recent that I'm like, well, you know I need to repurpose myself in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, let's find something that meets your skill level that isn't unless of course you're rigging all of these systems to implode at the right time.
I think something's gonna happen at some point, man, because we're close to that. We're
Yeah.
close to that. If you pay attention, it's like too much fuckery going around.
All right, so let's say they decide to turn it into a weapon system. What's the best way a normal person that knows nothing about this can disable a 5G tower?
Oh, you just go to the tower. It's basic principle. It's power and fiber.
So
It's just power
just
and
cut the
data.
power. Just cut the power.
Yeah, cut the power.
Okay.
That's just don't start shooting the antennas over the
That's what
top.
I was going
Just
to
go
ask you.
to the, go to the bottom.
Can you shoot it with a rifle?
You can, but you're not gonna do too much. So
Okay,
if
so
you go to the bottom,
yeah,
if you notice, there's little shelters like under the tower.
yeah, they're pretty
That's
well
that's where all the
fortified
magic
though. They're
happens.
pretty well fortified. How do you get in?
Uh, Shit, I don't know.
Is there a universal
But there's
key?
some, there's some that they don't even have a shelter. They just have cabinets. I guess you burn the cabinets. That's what I. But honestly, that's where all the magic happens. Because the antenna is just it's a mechanical device that will amplify the
Do
the
you
signal. The radio itself is the one that is transmitting. The antenna is just amplifying.
do hidden towers? Like we have a hotel right on in the middle of our town, and they have a giant tower, but it's hidden
Yeah,
in a.
yeah, I know. I've just saw. We do monopines, monopoles. monopalms, which I mean they don't look
They're
they don't
horrible. Those are horrible.
you're not fooling anyone. It's a shady ass pine,
Um,
and then
do you
steeples, church steeples. Those
do
are scary.
yeah, church steeples? Are there towers that are out there that aren't listed on the map, or are they all listed on the map?
Um, I'm not 100% sure, but there's rumors that they are a few towers that because you don't access every tower. They'll give you like a spreadsheet with all the codes and all the coordinates. And if you gotta go to certain tower, you just scroll and you look for the coordinates and you go over there. So you don't visit every tower. There's way too many. But I heard over the years about these phantom towers that they're just basically spying on you. They don't belong to any carrier, and they're shady. I've been all over the desert, from Texas to Arizona, and I drove all that area. Dude, you see so many towers and so shady towers that you're like, that don't even belong to a carrier because once you work in this environment for a while in this industry, you already know because of the radios and the brands. So like for example, Samsung is gonna be Verizon. Nokia is gonna be T-Mobile. The equipment, the sellers are different. AT&T is gonna be Ericsson. So when you look, you know, okay, that's AT&T. That configuration is Verizon. So I passed a few towers already over the course of the years, and like that doesn't even make sense. Who is that? Who is that tower? What carries in that tower? What are they doing? Because you see so many shady shit. It's like that's not Ericsson. That's not T-Mobile. Who is this? Who is this? Who is this carrier? Why do you have so many antennas? What are you doing here? And
Wow.
it's scary. I've seen some new stuff. I was told that is for airplanes, for the Wi-Fi in the airplanes, and the antennas point to the sky, which that makes sense.
I got a question
But
for
I
you.
mean, they're literally blasting us.
You can answer this question. I have this theory. So we have, Elon Musk with his, satellites, and people are seeing the lines in the sky. And I believe that I haven't seen them personally, but I believe that people are seeing the lines in the sky. I believe that's just a trick, whether it's a bunch of little drones, whether I don't know what it is. But it's not satellites falling around the Earth, right? Micro satellites, the size of a school desk, falling around the Earth, following all of the motions. None of that makes any sense. But there's something up there. Okay.
Yeah,
So hold on. I'm going to get to my question. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. In the 1980s, my father lived on a little island south of Puerto Rico, and we had one of those giant dishes, like 20 feet wide
yeah,
on his roof, and it actually moved, right? And it had five or so set spots where it would pull in 20 channels. And some of
I
them were
remember
like
that.
network feeds and all sorts of stuff. I wish I recorded some of that, like the raw news network feed going back to New York, and then they would edit it. Um, but they had all sorts of stuff on there. How does that work? Okay. And my thought was supposedly it was going towards a geostationary satellite. Anyone that's a flat earther knows that's not possible on a globe. I think, and I heard we had a NASA whistleblower that said that they can send a laser beam to the dome and it electrifies that area and it stays electrified for years. And then they could bounce a signal or something off of that. And then if you can bounce a signal off the dome, no matter where it's coming from,
That's what I.
if you point your disc toward your dish towards that spot, you would get a signal, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So my theory is that there is no because they call it ducting, or let me see, it's here. They say that ducting is basically going the signal going into the curvature of the earth on the atmosphere, bouncing off the clouds and on the atmosphere. But they say the atmosphere is it's vapor and water, and I'm like, and then I was doing some digging. Vapor will actually absorb the signal. It's not gonna make it bounce. So
Right.
I think there's an electromagnetic dome or something on top that is making it bounce
Let me
back.
ask you a question. If you if you sent a signal at a wall or whatever, just had something to hit, something to bounce off of, that signal is going to hit there and it's going to bounce off in every direction, right? And that
Depending on the frequency.
yeah, well, yeah, but it's going to bounce off and it's going to spread out like light. It's just going to spread out.
Yes.
Now, to collect that, you have a giant dish. You point it right at that spot, and it's going to collect that information, condense it, and it's going to make it readable. I think that's how those big
Yeah.
satellite dishes work. All right, back to my original question. So they say they're going to have internet, that Starlink Starlink is going to offer worldwide internet in remote places. Haven't seen it yet, but is it possible that all of the airplanes in the sky are creating a mesh network? They're all
Absolutely.
they're just flying towers.
Yeah, you can they actually um the airplanes have a receiver too. Have you seen all the lights on the runway? You
Yeah.
know that they start blinking and they change patterns. That's actually controlled by the airplane. I didn't know that. There's a arrays of antennas in the landing pad on the landing strip that will give the airplane information on how high it is, where's the ground, and then the pilot can actually control the lights on the ground. So he can control the patterns and have a safe landing if he wants to. So I don't I don't I think
Hold on.
that
So
it's
hold on.
possible.
Back to my question. So you got planes everywhere, overpopulated areas, of course. They're like cell towers, and could they transmit Wi-Fi to people on the ground?
Yeah, if it receives, it can transmit too.
All right, and
Yeah,
so from
it
30,000.
goes up and down all the time.
So you're on the ground, you're trying to get your internet, you're in the middle of the jungle, but there's an airplane over there, there's an airplane over there, there's an airplane over there, and you're all connecting. That's your mesh network of cell towers.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
So do you remember that Elon Musk said when the stupid Ukraine war started, he goes, "We're going to turn off Starlink over Ukraine." Well, you know what they
Yeah,
did?
I remember that.
That they made Ukraine a no-fly zone. So now there's no airplanes over Ukraine. Therefore, there's no Starlink.
Yeah, but the issue with that is, and I believe they're doing it in satelloons, at least Starlink,
Oh,
because that's the only way.
I think a lot of it is balloons and then the balloons and the planes combined. I mean, they're just all connecting. It's just like a whole bunch of moving towers. Makes a lot more
Yeah,
sense. It seems a lot easier than the impossibility of orbiting satellites.
yeah. I mean, the orbiting satellites, it's just
Stupid.
clown stuff. It
Just
doesn't even make sense. Yeah, I questioned that since I was a kid, because but then it was confirmed by obviously being an adult. I keep digging. It's like there's no propulsion. How?
yeah.
And then so many other things that even make sense. It's just missing. But the mesh networking over the airplanes and basically bouncing off the dome or whatever we have on top in the firmament, that's totally possible because they've been talking about that for years. They even say that ducting, like AM radios and transmitters. How is it possible for me in the United States communicate with someone in Africa? They say it's because of the ducting and the refraction on
Yeah.
the bouncing of the waves in the atmosphere. But I don't believe that's true. I believe it's because it's so flat that you
That's a
just can
straight line.
communicate from
It's
here to
a
there.
straight line, right?
Yeah, totally fine. And
Fascinating. Anything else?
oh, that'll be it, man. I mean, if you need I can send you the link for the Google Earth, FCC,
Send me the link to the
all the
map
microwave.
and then that other video you said. Are you cool if I put this on BitChute?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, for sure.
Send me those links. I'll put them in the description and let people figure it out from there.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, man. Thanks for the chat. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Nice to meet you, sir.
All right, keep up the good work and stop installing 5G towers that are going to kill us one day. All right.
Well, at some point, I'm gonna be able to do something else other than 5G cable,
I
5G networks.
pray that's the case. All right. Thanks.
All right, brother. Have a great day.